And this had been a man that was purposeful throughout our relationship. So it's hard to say that I didn't see it coming because he'd always been intentional. He's been intentional in his life before me, and he was intentional with everything he's done for me in this relationship. And that's what we gotta go for, ladies. They've been walking around aimless their whole lives, just telling people what to do and giving fake advice. That ain't the person you wanna marry. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Nina, and I have been taking a much needed rest and relaxation from these here internet streets. However, your girl is back, and I have been paying so much attention to all your love regarding our recent engagement, and thank you so much for that. If you missed the engagement video, check out the link down below as well as our reaction. But with that said, dating is hard, and some of the foolish fools, the frauds, and the people that tell you you should have no hope make it no better. And sometimes we need to heal from our own life traumas as well as learn some life lessons in order to move forward successfully. Can I get a witness? A amen, a hallelujah, whatever you're feeling. But y'all, being with the right person or being found by the right person does not have to be so hard. Today's video is all about how I stepped outside my comfort zone and dated differently online and dated with a purpose. I'll be doing an exact do's and don'ts video of things that worked for me here very soon. I'm gonna do something different. I'm letting your questions guide the video. So how am I doing that? Make sure that you're following me on Instagram, where I always ask questions and polls and post pictures, as well as over here. Some of y'all have told me that YouTube unsubscribed you, you're not finding my videos. You gotta make sure you're subscribed, liking the videos, and supporting the content. That's the way to make sure that I stay in your feed. I know this dating thing is hard. Make sure you're commenting down below. This community loves to support one another and provide hope and solid advice. So chime in and tell us your stories as well. All items I mentioned today can be found down below in the information section. And don't forget to check out my Amazon shop down below and follow the store. If you do, it will let you know when I go live over on Amazon, which I've been doing a lot more lately. So let's go ahead and get into this video. The first comment was, let us know each and every step you took in finding an equally yoked partner. Now, it's a lot of steps that go into that, and I'm going to be breaking down lots of videos for you all. However, the story is full of ways I had to further develop me and my life and take care of me and put myself first in order to be found by the right one that was for me, that was doing the same in their lives. And that's why today's video is brought to you by me. Hold up, who is brought to you by? Me, Dr. Nina, and my mentorship membership. So y'all, I'm so excited to share this with you all, and it was created with you in mind, my supporters. For years, you all have watched me grow, you've watched me fail and get up, change things, and make things happen. Over the past 2 years, I have beta tested this program with various individuals of different walks of life in order to provide research-based and sound information and tips to improve and level up. Everything from building friendships, networks, relationships, career, health and fitness, how I've lost over 100 pounds and kept it off for almost 16 years now, finding ways when there seems to be no way. Members also receive a live monthly webinar and masterclass where we discuss various different topics based on their needs. There's also a live monthly office hour where members are able to ask specific questions tailored to their own growth and development. The awesome thing is that the courses within are continuing to grow and develop based on feedback from the members, as well as new courses being added along the way. So if you all about receipts, just like me, come and get the program that is designed for you to have interaction with me, the person with the experience, as well as the credentials to help to lead and guide you. And while it's not therapy, you are receiving the insight of a person who is licensed as a mental health professional as well. So click the link below in the description box or check it out at drninaellishervey.com/membership. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. So y'all go ahead and get in on this mentorship membership while you can, while space lasts, and while this price lasts. So this question right here was good, y'all, okay? How did you talk yourself out of the negative mindset that marriage might not be a possibility? So strangely enough, those of you all that have followed me for years, you know that your girl is more than a dreamer. I'm an executor. Not only do I look for things that I want in life, not just because other people want them, not just because my mama wants it for me, not just because other people think I should have it. It's usually really things that I've highly researched, sat back and thought about, and I've prepared myself for. This was no different. You know, a lot of people go out here preaching that these things just happen to you if you look like this and you are like that. I mean, a lot of those people that look like that and are like that and got bags like that and got the money like that, still not doing it successfully. What I like to do is to really write down the things that I want and execute them, not just because of how other people are doing them or getting them, but according to my life and my life plan and goals. And with that said, that means putting in the work, but also having a spiritual and faith-based connection, and also having a network of people that can support that. I have a mentor. Just like I run this mentorship membership, I also have mentors that I love and I'm dearly connected to. Guess what? Most of them are in successful and happy marriages and have been for years. One of them over 40 plus years. Preparing myself for that and getting out of that mindset of negativity was seeing the possibility. You have to put yourself in positions to be able to see and appreciate those situations, and not just the people that are going to tell you what you can't have because you can't have it. Some of those people have never had, and some of those people have never done what is necessary to be. So why would I ask them, and why do I need them? If you are having problems with that and finding yourself less hopeful than you should be, make sure you watch the live video that I did on your average at best. We know what happened with that situation, but I took another spin on it. How are we going to work on ourselves in order to get out of these negative mindsets and stop listening to the wrong networks? Your connections need to have some of the things that you want, and even those people who don't, they should be supporting you, giving you constructive criticism in order for you to get to your next level as you help them to grow. Everything you want, I believe, is within your reach. If you truly want it and it's truly for you, of course, we can't just magically on a whim make things happen. But I believe that we can do more to put ourselves in the best positions to think more positively for ourselves and to have a better outcome. And I feel like these next two questions kind of went together. One of them said, how did you vet him out? Tips to find a good man. I'm definitely going to do a video just on that, so thank you for that. But where did y'all meet? I think that's a bigger question for me, because y'all wrote everything from how did y'all meet, where did y'all meet, how long did y'all court, and did you pray for him? Before everything happened, I talked about that spiritual connection and that faith-based connection. What I did was, after my last breakup, I told myself there were things that I was going to do differently. And you all know I don't come on this channel, dog people, and speak negatively of anyone, but I can say this is that I was not in relationships that I think were a good match for me. And that's fine. That's not saying anything negative about anyone. It's just saying it just wasn't for me. And so for me, I wanted to do things differently to get the things that I wanted. It wasn't that I wasn't getting people that had money. I've dated men that had money. I've dated men that had high-powered careers. I've had people that were at my level and even below. And I've also dated people that were from my same hood, were in different places that I was, that had the same networks. It needed something more and something new. Strangely enough, a lot of people want to know, like, how did you date online? I had never been on Tinder. Now, mind you, I have met people online before, but they were always through paid sites. They were always through these more mainstream sites. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get on Tinder. Why? Because my best friend had just gotten married a year before. And she was like, you know what, best friend? I think it's about time. You've been single for a while. You're doing good. So why don't you just get on Tinder? If not for, you know, and giggles. And I was like, girl, Tinder, I heard that's where people just be hooking up. You know what I'm saying? So on the street, people just be hooking up. At your job, people just be hooking up. That's not an excuse, right? So just like you do anything that you really want, you research it, you figure it out. But I think this applies to any online dating that you do. So first off, I wanted people to see me. I just wanted them to know something about my personality and not my profession per se. I'm that girl next door, but I always had some style and grace about myself. And so that's what I wanted to put forth. And I also wanted to show myself not just in the best light, but just things that really represented me. I love fashion, so I put fashion pictures on there. I love face, so I made sure they got the face. I even had a picture on there with my fur baby, while people be talking about not being able to have fur babies. I mean, okay. I was so overwhelmed because basically everybody I swiped right on me. Didn't expect that. When I say didn't expect that, I'm a realistic person. I don't believe that everybody is everybody's flavor. I don't care how fine you are. So when I did that, I was like looking for people that had some good profiles themselves, and they look like they were open, honest, and good people. You don't know that until you talk to people, but you can tell. You can tell from the profile what a person look like. They got on the shades and they trying to hide some, or you know, every picture got a woman cut out of it, or you know, they always at the hood parties or at some kind of club. So I wanted somebody that looked like they were traveling, like they were working, like they could match me, match my fly. And that's okay. You should want the best for yourself. You shouldn't be looking at the internet like, well, maybe I should give them a chance. I've made that mistake in the past, sis. Don't do it. They had to look the part. And what I had to do was go in with an idea of what that was. And I've told many of you all that I actually have a list that I'm going to share with you all later. But I prayed over that list. I prayed. I thought about it. I checked with my mentors. I really connected with God and made sure that I had my spiritual piece together. I'm not a big religious person. However, I do believe in my faith base. It has carried me far. I really knew what was important to me and what was not. And so before I got on the internet, I wasn't confused. I wasn't just, you know, thrown off by a cute face, a smile, or some money in the camera. I wanted a person that looked like money, that looked like they were doing the things that I was doing, that looked like they would enjoy being in my company and I could enjoy being in theirs. I wanted somebody that I could have reciprocity with and have equality with. And when I say equality, I mean where we were in life. I didn't want to go below that. I wanted somebody that had what I had and better. And so that was what I looked for. And the people who were swiping right on me and we started conversing, if instantly they weren't looking for what I was looking for, I let them go. I didn't play around with my time and I didn't play around with theirs. I wanted them to find the fun nights that they wanted to have because I wasn't going to give it out. So they might as well move on. And I must say, before I met my fiance, I was about to go on a date with someone else. And when I talked to this person, because they looked that part, but when I talked to them, it was a different thing and a vibe going on, and I canceled that. My fiance will tell y'all that I played him the first day he tried to see me. What I didn't know was he was in town for work. He wasn't living in Houston. He was just there for work from Chicago. He was patient because that next night we went out and he wasn't pushy about it. He didn't get mad when I turned him down the first night. And when I say turned him down, I still wanted to talk and connect, but I wasn't going to be so quick to just go out with him just because we had just met or swiped right on each other. You know, if somebody can't take you saying, not tonight, you know, I'm not comfortable just yet, how's the rest of that relationship gonna go? With them always pushing or pressuring you into things? So the next day I did. And we had a 3-hour-long date that was just absolutely amazing. He did ask me to continue the night with him and his friends, but I declined, not in a mean way, but because I wanted to slowly but surely sneak into getting to know him even more. And the next day before he left to head back to Chicago, we had lunch before he had to take off on his flight. And he almost missed his flight hanging out with me. And so that said a lot. That said a lot. I'll say that. So one of the next questions says, what were some of the moments that made you go, God sent this man to me, this is for me? Some key moments were whenever, you know, I needed him, he was there. Even though we were long distance for the first year and over a year, he was always around and present. Every special moment in my life, he was there. Every special moment or non-special moment, he was sending flowers. He was doing things. He was connecting me with his family and his network and his friends. And we were doing meaningful things together, like traveling together and seeing different things and seeing different places. Not only that, y'all, but we prayed together. We went to church together. He was introducing me to people that could help to further my career or help to, you know, step me up or to support me. He had really close friends or has really close friends in Houston. So he was connecting me with them. I was going to church with them, you know, connecting with their family, going to their home without him there. I noticed that he had a spiritual connection. I noticed that he had a connection to family and friends. He had long lasting friendships just like I did. A lot of those things that were key for me were there quite early, and I knew quite early on. Not only that, I listened to what he talked about. I didn't have have to ask every question. I knew this man wanted marriage because he talked about his future. He talked about the type of things he wanted in his life without me having to grovel or beg for him to talk about marriage or talk about wanting children. I felt like that was natural. And I also felt it was natural when I told him, in fact, when we had a discussion about dating other people, that I had been dating other people and I was okay with if he was at that time, because we were friends for about a good 3 to 4 months before we made anything. It was 4 months before anything became official. And when he saw or heard that I was dating other people, he didn't get jealous. He didn't get jealous. And that was big for me. That was huge for me. I've always had people get a little bit bothered by that, or instantly say they want me to stop dating other people, even though, you know, we just met. And he was dating other people. But naturally so, all of those things fell off. We just continued in a good friendship. We continued in a good friendship. And I also knew I was starting to love him. Weirdly enough, he hurt his arm early on into our friendship, and he was in Chicago, and I literally had something to do that weekend, but it could be rescheduled. And because I felt that he was special and the connection was there, and he had been to Houston to visit and hang out, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go because he just had surgery. I want to see him. I want to help him with some things. And I did. And literally I have family in Chicago. I stayed with them, and then I would go to his house and hang out with him and do things with him. And it really deepened our connection because I was able to be there with him at a time where he didn't need me. You know, other people were around to take care of him or do things for him, but just my presence for him was important. And he didn't even really ask me to do anything but be there. And that said a lot. So when you ask about those God moments, that was big for me. And so to answer the question, are y'all equally yoked, which was another question, yes, I would say we were. We were just as kind and caring to one another. We really enjoyed each other's company. But not only that, when it came to his career and profession, he's a mechanical engineer with an MBA. He works in a very amazing startup company. He is also very career oriented and goal oriented, has a business, does consulting, and he had a lot of the things going in his life that I had in mind, but I also was learning from him because he's had a lot more corporate experience than I have. He's been in the working world a lot longer than I have. So not only that, I feel like I look up to him, and I still feel that way. And I feel like this man has come into my life and he helps me with so much and wants me to be better, which makes me more happy to assist him where I can. I'm literally feeling like I finally had that connection where it wasn't just about equal. It was about me being able to be vulnerable. It was about someone being able to be there to help me, but also me not feeling guilty about helping them because I was always getting it in return. Reciprocity, okay? I didn't have to stop anything I was doing. Even though I was bougie from the beginning, he's known I'm bougie. He's always supported that. He knew I was bougie and he loved it. He loves that I work out. He loves that I get these nails done. He loves that I keep my hair together. He loves that I love the self-care, that I do YouTube videos, that I, do all of these other wonderful things. And he also made sure that all his family, friends, and everyone knew about it. He's always professing to others and bragging on his woman. I didn't have to do anything to make him feel like more of a man because he already is. He already is. And yeah, it makes it easy for you to really support someone and love someone and treat them well and with kindness and respect when they are your equal or you are equally yoked in that way. So how long have we been dating? So we met on September 8th of 2018 and we dated, or I would say courted, and went into very deep connections in friendship. And when I say friendship, straight up friendship, like just there for each other, laughing with each other, having fun with each other. And he did introduce me to his family first. And that connection went on until he asked me to be his official girlfriend, which he did so eloquently and literally made it so special, which was another reason why I knew he was the one. He literally asked me with a huge bouquet of flowers, with a gift, and in front of my mother, would I be his girlfriend on New Year's Eve of 2018. And it was right before we were going to hang out for New Year's Day, to bring in our New Year's. And that rang bells with me. That was just so big for me. And he made everything so special. I did say yes, that I would be his girlfriend. And I checked yes on the card that he gave me because it was like yes or no. True Detroit style man. When he did that, I knew that this was different. He was trying to make sure that he made me remember certain things, to see the connections in our relationship and our growing friendship. We officially started dating on the last day of 2018. And we got engaged Thanksgiving of 2020. So a little less than 2 years to our engagement. And I had the question here of, what do you need to know about your partner before engagement? You should definitely be doing a little bit of research. Your friends, the people that are in your life that you trust, they should also be helping you with this research. Let me tell you, when I told my best friend that I was going on a date with him, she knows how to research the internet for people and look at them and see their profiles and see what's going on and see what things they're showing and find any red flags. So on that date, she had already researched him. And guess what? I sat up there and told him, like, you know what? People are already trying to find out who you are. He was not intimidated at all. He was like, tell him to look for me. Tell him to look me up. And what I found was one of my best friends was already like, hold on, this dude seems really legit. He's really cool. I see a lot of things about, you know, how he's on these boards and he does things with the United Way. And, you know, he's worked for this company and this company. He's really, you know, polished. And, you know, not only just the things he had, but it seemed like he had real friendships. We saw him on trips with people. We saw him, you know, dealing with other people. I even saw his ex-girlfriend. It didn't bother me, but I saw that, you know, it looked like at the time that they were together, they were happy. He seemed like a very genuine person. I think it's nice to see a person through different seasons, ups and downs. We kind of had a down early in our relationship because he hurt his arm. So I was able to see how he handled that. I was able to see him in his family connections. He saw me in mine. Not only that, see how they support you without you having to ask for it. See how they react to you supporting them. Also seeing if you all's needs align. All of that. I think those are things that you should definitely know. Their mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical connection to themselves. I think that should all be evaluated by you, just as you would evaluate yourself. You know, if you're trying to be healthy in your life, if this person ain't never worked out or picked up a barbell, don't know what a gym look like, then maybe that ain't the person for you. And it's important that you make those decisions early. Get what you want. If you're at a certain level, you definitely want your man to be at a certain level. As a woman, I do see myself as the prize, and I want the man to see me as the prize, and I want him to want to take care of me and do all that he can for me while I'm doing things that he would want for me to do for him. So you got to make sure that those things align. And to me, those are the important things to know before engagement. One of the questions I got was, what boundaries did you guys place with each other before engagement or pre-engagement? I will say that there were several boundaries and we had to work those out across the lines. You know, everything can't be robotic, y'all, so you can't start listing out your do's and don'ts for someone. Why? Because you don't want them to just be trying to do or don't do those things in order to get with you. You want to naturally see their progression and how they're treating you. And even though we were long distance, we saw each other often, every other week. So that was a big part for us. He is a physical touch person, and that's not just sexually, y'all. That just means that he likes to see you, visualize you, be able to put his eyes on you. He's not used to long distance. I, on the other hand, have dealt with long distance. I was okay with it, but I knew that that was a part of his love for, you know, someone, a part of him building love. So with that, we saw each other often. That was a part of our thing that we did. So either he was coming to Houston or I was going to Chicago. Not only that, we made it so we had other plans and things to do. We also made sure that we made things seem as connected as possible within our families, with our church communities. We also did things like this. Like even when we went to church, we would collect all the information from a given sermon and share it with each other in a note on iPhone. And that was pretty cool. So we tried to make sure we connected each other. And I even went on work trips with him, you know, to the golf course. Because of him, I went on my first, you know, real huge 5-star, you know, stay in California and did some really cool things at a major place. And I knew then that he wanted me to do nice high lifestyle things. So a part of us was really making sure we set the bar high. When we were together, every day we worked out. every day. That was another part of our boundaries. Another thing was there was no expectation of you cook for me, you clean for me, you do this, you do that. No, for neither of us. That was something that was understood, that that's something you reserve for your husband or your wife or your soon-to-be husband or wife. So none of that was required. For us, it was all about making sure that person still maintained their life and had some individuality while we were coming together. But at the same time, a big part of it was communication, and that was expected. That was expected. None of this gray area, gray matter stuff, but we were expecting to have a pace, and we spoke with each other about it. Communication was necessary. We had to stay on the same page. And so when I say, you know, what are some boundaries? If I didn't want to do it, I didn't do it. If he didn't want to do it, he didn't do it. And what I mean by that is when you start to build a love and connection with someone, you want to do things that make them happy, but also make you happy. But if you have a life before them, there are certain things that you still have to stand for and still keep sacred to yourself. And for me, that was things like, you know, having still my business connections and doing other things and still standing firm on things I had planned before I was with him. You can't just start being with a man or a woman and dropping all your stuff for them. In fact, I think it made him love me more. I think it helped me to love him more, that he had other things outside of me. We had other things that we were entertaining in our lives, and it helped us to come together even more because we respected each other, our nature, what we had going on. And not only that, we knew that our time was precious. So the time we were sacrificing was literally just that. We wanted to be with one another when we could have been doing other things, and we made it work. And y'all, I also had two questions that were pretty much one and the same. One being, what characteristic do you love most about your fiance? And the other one, how does he make you feel special on a day-to-day basis? I will say that this man makes sure that every day is a special day. Like, he'll go to like Trader Joe's and he'll come back with a bouquet of flowers or roses or daisies, which I love. He'll come back with something that shows me he loves and cares for me, or shows me that he thought of me. When I saw that thoughtfulness, and even my mother, when my mother saw that thoughtfulness and mentioned it to me, which y'all, you know, she's liked people and she's only met, what, about 3 people that I've dated before him. That says a lot, right? But the thoughtfulness for her stood out. His carefulness, the way that he takes care of me. Some days, y'all, I'm gonna tell you, you know, I'm an intermittent faster. I will go almost hours without eating. This man will make sure that I have food. He will make sure that I'm nourished. He will ask me what I've eaten. He will make sure that he goes out of his way to do things. When he could get a cheaper present, he doesn't. I mean, this man was, I've told you all, I've dated high-powered people, I've dealt with other people, but this is the first man that has bought me luxury bags and, you know, shoes and clothes. And here's the thing, it's not, I want y'all to hear me on this, it's not about the materialistic things, but it's the fact that a person will invest in you because they want you to have the best. That's the thing that I'm talking about. Even if they don't have that money at that level and they're still your equal, are they really sacrificing to do things for you? You know, is that really something that, you know, they took time to plan or to think out? Even right down to our proposal and engagement. That was amazing. I had no idea. So getting into your questions about that, let's move on to those questions. Was marriage talked about, or was this a complete surprise? And how did he propose? And did you know he was going to? It was a complete surprise. How could it be a complete surprise if y'all went ring shopping, which we did? We looked at rings during the summer. Mind you all, he asked me 3 different times to go ring shopping with him. He mentioned it 4 times, but it was not until that last time that I was like, okay, yes, I want to go. Not because I didn't want to go, but because I wanted to make sure that this was his decision, not that he felt pressured into it, not that he felt like he had to. And this was, you know, he had moved to Houston. So it was May of this year of 2020, May of 2020. And when he moved, I knew that he was going to need time to settle in, do his own thing, whatever. And like literally in June, he was asking about going ring shopping. And looking at rings. I shouldn't say ring shopping, going to look at rings. So with my ring in particular, this man, we went in, we tried on like 3 or 4 different styles. He chose this one after we had tried on the first 3. He was like, hey, look at this one. That looks cool. And I tried it on. And I had never even thought about this shape, y'all. I had never even thought about this shape in ring or this style of ring, this vintagey style. And when I tried it on, I fell in love with it. And he did too. And when he saw my face light up, I saw something in him. I saw something in him like that was like, wow, I really like that, and I like how it makes her feel. And he had asked me like what kind of gold, or, you know, because I love gold and I love rose gold. And, you know, he listened. Rose gold, and yes, honey, this is VBS in the middle. Do you hear me? With the double halo. I didn't know when it would happen, but I knew it would. And this had been a man that was purposeful throughout our relationship. So it's hard to say that I didn't see it coming, because he'd always been intentional. He had always been intentional. So I knew a proposal was coming, and I wasn't going to sit around begging for it or expecting it, nor did I have to. Every day he made me feel fulfilled in this relationship. So there was never a need for that. There was never a need to sit around thinking or contemplating when he would do it. I knew it would happen, because everything he said he would do in this relationship, he has always done. The ring was a shock, because this is not the setting I looked at. Of course, it was like the model ring in the store. The fact that he went out and got the rose gold on it, that was, you know, you already winning, you know. And the proposal itself, my God, he made it so special. I had never seen anything like that. And those of you all that have seen the proposal video know what I'm talking about. It just was so well thought out, so well planned, so well executed. He had everything together, from the photographer, the videographer, to the family. He even flew my sister in and his sister in to witness the moment. His nephew came. He was safe, because we are in C19 times, right? So we had to make sure that was on par. You know, right down to picking out the perfect spot in the park in Houston. Y'all, it was just, you know, and the way that he did that whole proposal, because some of you all, after seeing the video, was like, well, didn't you know because you were dressed up? No, the way he did it was, y'all know my makeup artist, Sabrina Cross, who I absolutely love, who styles me for everything, who's doing the styling for the wedding. She had literally told me she wanted me to walk in the park in some of her designs, or some of her items from her shop, with some other models, safely distanced, to show off some of her new pieces. I didn't think anything of it. When she wants me to come, I come. So she did my makeup that morning. We got there, and she had told me that Sean was there to help her husband with some things for the show. So I didn't think much of it, y'all. That's how they got me. And I didn't ask many questions until that day. It wasn't until that day, and she'll tell you the same thing, that I started asking a lot of questions. So I'm like, okay, we here on Thanksgiving. Who else coming? What other models are you going to have? You know, that kind of thing. And so I didn't know. I didn't know this man had planned this stuff out with everybody to a T. He had also let all of my family and friends know. They had a fake group on Facebook that was called like the brunch group or something. I wouldn't have known. I wasn't in the group. And they were talking about this, so my best friends knew. Their families knew. He just made it so special. And he's always been intentional. That was important. He's been intentional in his life before me, and he was intentional with everything he's done for me in this relationship. And that's what we got to go for, ladies. That's what you don't settle for. And gentlemen, people need to be intentional. If they've been walking around aimless their whole lives, just telling people what to do and giving fake advice, that ain't the person you want to marry. Okay? I wanted someone, and that was what I asked God for, intentional, purposeful, moving forth and doing what's necessary in their lives before they become an existing part of mine. And now more of a permanent part. But the first part is, when you exist in my life, you must be intentional. And I wasn't going to do that non-intentional no more. So y'all, here's the last question, and I think it's important. It's, if you had never gotten engaged, would we have ever met him? And my answer to that is no. No, I had decided that I would never show anybody else on YouTube. Y'all have only seen one person in years anyway. Let's think about that. So I'm intentional and purposeful. Y'all know I don't share everything about my life. That just doesn't happen. So in this situation, I said, you know what? Unless we get married, ain't no reason for nobody to see them. For those of y'all that want to say, like, what, y'all still not married? Y'all engaged? Oh, baby, the investment is there. With God and with all we have going on, we're going to make it across the aisle and into marriage. It's not just about the wedding. If that didn't happen, for us, no, y'all wouldn't have met him. And I had that in my heart. That was important. And nor did he ever get, we never took pictures on the internet or had them on the internet. It never bothered him that it was also important to him. He was like, you know, I want to wait too. And it was never in a way to harm me. It was just like, yeah, I would like to wait too, you know, when we talked about it. So that to me made me feel even more comfortable in being open with the one I love. It wasn't governed by you all. It wasn't governed by the internet. I wasn't waiting on the likes. By the time y'all saw him, it was already affirmed. And now that he is a permanent being in my life, yeah. And I know I skipped over this question, but do we plan to have children? That is something that we want. And I always say, if God says the same, definitely. Definitely with this marriage that makes it seem more realistic. So that's that. So I hope y'all have enjoyed this intimate video today and that it's shared a part of me that maybe you haven't seen before. I think I've done everything, laughed and cried and had some emotion in this video, some other emotions going on, but I just want you all to see that these things are possible. And if you're looking for more ways to really shape and shift your life and form it and develop it into what you want, make sure you check out my mentorship membership linked down below. That mentorship membership was over 2 years in the making, also through the time that I was in a relationship with Sean. And that, when I say was in a relationship, we were building our relationship, and he really nurtured me through that process and putting it together. So hopefully you all will check it out. You know, and I know a lot of you all have said, when I get some coins, I want to make sure I join this thing, and it will be there. It will be there. And I'm so excited and happy for all the things that are happening for the beautiful women that have taken a part in it so far. Over 25 beautiful souls. So you all, make sure that you comment, share this video with someone who can use it and use the motivation and the inspiration, and also subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. Beautiful brown baby doll. Peace. Check the links in the description for my free new Dr. Nina's Mentorship Facebook group, which is a group of like-minded individuals looking to progress, grow, and support one another along the way. The Now That's Life podcast is about to go into season 2, so I suggest you go ahead and subscribe to the podcast on all your major podcasting platforms. All descriptions and links for that and my free supernatural video course are found below. Thanks so much for all the love and support over on my new website. If you haven't already, go ahead and check it out and join me for new ways to interact with me, giveaways and prizes, weekly emails, as well as my free 8-day supernatural video course, which is free when you sign up.